Mrs. Brooks Buck, how dare you? You actually sat here and blamed the victim in Loudoun County. No means no and stop means stop. Several case laws to that. Nationally, 50% of reported rapes are committed by a partner, and 40% of those reported are those committed by someone that the victim knows. You claim to be a researcher, yet you chose to use an opinion piece. I know because I looked it up. It says opinion in red letters at the top. I don't know if you chose it because of its salacious headline or because it came from the gray lady. Either way, you failed as a researcher. All to dispel misinformation when you could have used the special grand jury report, which affirmed that the predator specifically took advantage of policy 8040 to gain access to the girls' restroom. It does not matter what relationship, if any, existed. This board's policy defines sexual assault and dating violence. Note your U.S. code reference is wrong. As a researcher, you might want to look into that. Perhaps the sexual assailant in Loudoun County was found guilty on all charges. He's to remain locked in a juvenile facility until his 18th birthday. The judge only reversed that he has to register as a sex offender. You really should read the special grand jury report. It details how the administration purposely acted to keep the board in the dark, how the administration was only looking out for their own interests, and how they failed the students and parents of Loudoun County of every opportunity. To be clear, the objections that those of us in the public have regarding this board failing to adopt the transgender model policies as mandated by the Virginia Department of Education, we do so because we demand our children be protected from sexual predators. Loudoun County serves as an example of teenage sexual predators existing and exploiting policies to their own end. We should be empowering our children to speak for themselves, to defend themselves in their actions and words. We should never encourage our children to remain silent in a situation when they are uncomfortable. And again, we should never blame the victim. In March 17, 2023, in the Suffolk News Herald, the superintendent declared that people, quote, pushed back when we put in a transgender policy that was mandated by the state. How does the superintendent now reconcile he is pushing back against state mandates on the same policy? The superintendent's changes significantly water down and weaken the parental rights that the state has specifically intended to reinforce.
I am here to discuss the policy regarding non-disclosure of information to the parent if a teacher or a staff member feels that the disclosure will be harmful to the student, and also that they must only disclose to other school personnel. So my daughter struggled with these issues from an early age, and even though I did not affirm her decision, I was still able to guide her through this journey. She now embraces her femininity and her true female gender. She has said to me numerous times, "Mama, thank you so much for leading me to Living Waters. I'm so thankful that I didn't take hormones that would have changed my physical makeup or surgeries that would have marred my body for life." She would have gone through all these changes and still had the same issues and challenges. So what this policy wants to do is it wants to take away a parent's ability to intervene in the lives of their children. This policy also sends an unspoken message to children that their homes and their parental support is not safe. This disrupts the family unit. Who knows their children better than their parents? Children at this age do not even have the higher brain function to make these kinds of decisions. They're still growing. They're not adults. Even elementary, middle school, or high school, they don't have that upper brain function to be making these decisions. My daughter would have had a much different life had this policy been in place, and I would not have been able to help and lead and guide her through this decision.
When I was 19 years old, I made the decision that I wanted to identify as a man, and I cut all my hair off, and I decided to go by he, him pronouns. I had been going to therapy for some childhood trauma-related issues for a while, and 2 sessions after I briefly mentioned to my therapist that I had gender dysphoria, she was already asking me if I wanted to start the process of hormonal therapy and asking me questions like, does your mother really love you if she won't call you by the name you want? And does your mother really love you if she won't call you by the gender you prefer? And if I couldn't see for myself at 19 what gender I was, then how can we expect those of an elementary, middle, and high school age to do the same? Excluding parents from this decision is not, in my opinion, it is not the best route to go, because if a therapist missed the mark, how can we expect teachers to know? How can we expect teachers to pick up and decide for the students what's safe and what's not? My therapist was ready to remove my mother from the situation simply because she would not call me by a different name.
I cannot imagine any of you thinking it is okay for a biological boy to be in a locker room with your daughter or granddaughter. My God doesn't make mistakes. If he created a boy with a penis, he's a boy. If he created a girl with a breast, she's a girl. Mutilating a child does not change the fact that they still have two X chromosomes and an X and Y chromosome. You cannot change how God made them, nor should you try without parent permission. These children belong to the parent, not the state of Virginia or the city of Suffolk.
And when it comes down to the whole thing about parental rights, we heard this thing about the rights of the children. Everybody needs to Google search what the Supreme Court in the United States has recognized as rights of the children. The right of a child to talk to an adult without the permission of the parent is not a right of the child.